Welcome to the Problem Listening channel on YouTube. I'm answering the questions you sent. Please subscribe to my channel.
7. Do people apply the behaviors and treatments they see in their own families, their spouses, when they get married?
Of course, everything that people see, like the place, country, and environment they are in, all of these have an impact because children grow up by observing and imitating those around them. As you know, boys see their fathers as role models. If there is no such role model, maybe the uncles, grandfathers that they admire and appreciate very much will replace a male figure, and the girls will replace their mothers in later years. I don't know if it happens, but it is like this in general. Therefore, the procedure, manners, sitting, standing, some local beliefs, views, customs, traditions are all passed on to the person of that region who grows up accordingly from birth. Later on, they might discard things they don't like, perhaps breaking out of their shell, but generally speaking, this is how it is.
Is it hypocrisy for couples to hide things from each other in order to be happy in their marriage?
So is it lying for their well-being? Of course. We soften truths to avoid harm. Couples say, "You've changed," by slightly altering the truth in a way that won't hurt the other person. Some things are softened, rounded off, or simply not said. For the sake of the other person's well-being, I consider these to be very graceful behaviors.
Couples say things to each other like, "You weren't like this before, you've changed a lot." The meaning of this phrase is that the veil has been lifted from my eyes. Could it mean that you're not that perfect after all?
That could be true, but couples really do change. Before getting married, individuals are quite comfortable with each other's desires and directions to maintain the relationship together. They continue their relationships. So it's because they behave this way that the relationship continues. On the contrary, we don't really appreciate people who say things like, "I always tell the truth. I say what I need to say first. I'm a good person," because they are telling the truth at the expense of hurting the other person. I mean, who asked you, brother? Why are you doing this? But today's young people are generally like what I've just described. Anyway, don't correct it at all. They don't take it lightly at all. You changed, losing what I loved. You've lost the qualities, made me want to marry you. You don't consider me anymore, or you're not showing any signs of affection. You're criticizing me. Then you've changed. Of course, there is a disappointment somewhere.
You say that women should take care of themselves at home, or else their husbands will be taken by other women, well-groomed women. But aren't those well-groomed women also very well-groomed at home? It's just the window dressing, isn't it?
I agree, but the men don't see it that way. Why? Because they are well put together, their hair is done. And if they are working together somewhere, what are all these things doing? The person you see is the well-groomed person. She's going outside. The woman at home might actually be even worse when she's alone. But since the man doesn't see that, the appearance of the person he accepted as someone he would stay married to for life affects him, because it affects, he compares. When you compare, you see it as a contradiction. It's not.
You're asking if jealousy is not love, but a disease. So, does this disease get triggered by insecurity?
Jealousy, something normal that everyone has. Even someone who says they never get jealous will label it with another name, but they do get jealous. I'm not talking about every kind of jealousy. The future. Worst. You can't open that window. When you go, you will look ahead. They turn her to the wall so that no one can see, or they make her cover her face. Some countries, I'm saying all of this. So there's an egoism here, a kind of bullying that says, you will do what I say while you're with me. And this is not the behavior of a normal soul. That's why jealousy is a disease. I say, under no circumstances go from the lightest to the furthest, because at advanced levels, jealousy becomes the initial stages of certain diseases. After that, when it progresses to the point of needing a psychiatrist, the jealousy incident turns into an illness with another name. What I'm trying to say is, if possible, do not confuse jealousy with interest and concern, especially not love. So, a person who truly loves doesn't get jealous. A person who loves might feel uneasy, perhaps. If the partner is showing interest in someone else or behaving more casually, they might get upset. All of these are things that shouldn't be done anyway. When a person is married, they behave in a limited way. They are getting married. By promising this, they won't betray their partner, won't lie, won't fight, won't raise their hand, etc., etc. When they don't do these things, naturally, difference and disconnection start. Then the other side sees this as a deficiency. She's pushing it. It's jealousy. Believe me, it's not Miss Selin loves me very much. She's very jealous of me. I mean, I can't explain how much he loves me. You're confusing jealousy with love. No.
When couples go to a restaurant, who should perhaps pay the bill?
It's a big minus for those who are going out for the first time. No woman, not even those in places known for the German way, truly approves of the man paying. But because there's nothing to it, there's no connection, no promise. If the child is studying and doesn't have money, if they're poor, they can accept that engagement is the same way. You still can't fully understand, but when a woman pays, or as I said, if we split it halfway, except for very, very, very poor situations, I want the man to pay, then the man's value increases in the woman's eyes. Don't take her to places you can't afford, then the man's value in the eyes of the woman increases. Don't take her to places you can't afford. A bagel and a tea is fine, but the man should pay, especially in marriage. In marriage, there's no you or me, there's only us. If the wife spends our money, or if the man spends our money, it's still our money. I'm also surprised those who say, you pay, my dear, or I don't get involved in money matters. In our house, my wife knows, all of these are weaknesses. When a woman sees these things, she starts to feel resentful after a while, and she elevates other men to a higher level, belittling her husband.
It's shameless for people who continue their relationship or marriage after being deceived. The term "that person" is being used. Do you think this is shamelessness?
Being cheated on is considered the number one sadness and an unacceptable crime everywhere in the world. Being cheated on in no way aligns with our mental health, except for the fact that those who know they have been cheated on and continue are in a very, very difficult situation. They do not tolerate it, do not accept it, and leave. But if they have nowhere else to go, or if there's the agony of being married to 2 or 3 women in some places, I can't say anything about that. But being cheated on is absolutely unacceptable, especially seeing the person you love with someone else. You can't accept that. You can't trust her anymore. The love felt for her diminishes because, in a way, this plays with your pride as a woman or as a man. It's about disregarding you. That's why I consider the topic of being cheated on as an exception. Most breakups are in exchange for being cheated on. A woman or a man does not divorce when they are beaten or bad-mouthed, but a woman who finds out that she has been cheated on wants a divorce. If a man isn't coming from a very serious background, we often find their stories, the 3rd page of the newspaper. Thank you very much for listening to me. Don't forget, subscribe to my channel.